Demonstrators up in Austin today calling for justice after yesterday's school shooting. So it started here at the governor's mansion and moved to the Capitol. Cards and flowers were made there for the 21 victims as protesters and speakers demanded an end to gun violence. Yesterday's tragedy is now the deadliest school shooting in Texas history.
Governor, I have to say something. The time for you to have stopped this was after Santa Fe High School. Sit down. Was after El Paso. Now you are doing nothing. No. We're operating nothing. You said this was not predictable. This is totally predictable when you choose not to do anything. Sir, you're out. I'm standing up for the kids of the state to stop this from happening again.
And as Matthew mentioned in his report just a moment ago, things got heated when Democratic candidate for governor Beto O'Rourke interrupted state leaders here in Texas. Beto saying he was invited to the news conference by several victims' parents. Joining us live now is reporter Greg Groogan to talk about how this shooting has really turned very political very quickly. Greg.
John, when 19 defenseless kids are mowed down in their public school, Texans want answers about what could have been done but wasn't. It's called accountability, and it's political because voters decide if those they elected bear any blame for the needless loss of life. You may well remember this headline-generating moment from the presidential primary debate stage back in 2019.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
979 days later, near the scene of yet another horrific mass murder, Democrat for Governor Beto O'Rourke publicly confronted the sitting incumbent, blaming inaction for the massive loss of life.
Stop the next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No,
you're offering us nothing.
This is the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you.
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line.
It's kids. It's kids. It's elementary school kids slaughtered. Kids.
Meantime, the loss of 21 lives, most of them children, has left state lawmakers who've advocated for added safeguards seething.
We keep seeing repeated mass shootings in the state of Texas, in a state where our Republican leadership has told us that if we put more guns in everybody's hands, we'll be safer. And evidence is to the contrary.
Speaking just outside an elementary school in the heart of her district, Democrat and former prosecutor Ann Johnson says her slate of pragmatic reforms, including mandatory training, extreme protection orders, background checks, safe storage, and even harsher penalties for mass shooters, were rejected by the Republican majority in the last session.
More guns don't make us safe. And a community that can't rally together in the slaughtering of second, third, and fourth graders and say enough is enough, then leadership is failing all of us.
Safe to say we will be hearing a great deal more about the issue of mass shootings as we move closer to the midterm election and the next Texas legislative session. In the newsroom, Greg Groogan, Fox 26 News.